Right, I'll keep this simple for you, not to confuse you all. So that area I've just shown you a video scan of is in Dalmere Forest, Malamondrum as I like to call it amongst my friends, and it's part of a plantation, and it's been taken by the Forestry Commission because it's there as a corporation to take for private shareholders for the money, basically. And that area I've just showed you, this area, is about the size of a football field, let's say. Now, this is the way the Forestry Commission work, right? Now, there's a road running across there. You might see that car going up there, and then because they don't take the trees at the side of the road or round the walkways, they take them from little selected spots like in here, which are like, let's say, sort of out of sight in a way. Now, what that does is it has less of a visual impact on the people, let's say, who are driving through the forest. Because let's say they continued felling up to that pathway where all those Scots pines are there, that would have more visual impact, and a lot more people would notice, like, oh, have you seen all the trees that have been cut down in Delamere? But like, this is like kind of hidden for them to do it. Now, what else you'll notice as well, native trees are left in here, yeah, which is a good thing. But this is like, what they've done at the same time is they've taken away a whole different habitat and way of life for all different insects and birds to feed upon that were living in those pine trees, even if they were planted as crops to be cut down and by chainsaw haws. But this little area, it doesn't look like much here. It was quite an interesting place, like, to come to, because it has, like, because of what Delamere is, it means wet forest, and this is what it is. Meres, bogs, all in there, and that used to be pass. Now that doesn't get more boggier now. Probably start, like, eventually, depending on what gets planted there or what happens to it, depending on the rainfall, starts up with what we have like Blakemere moss. But for example, right, for me being a forest dweller, like, this was one of the areas that I knew that I could come to because it was part of one of the meres, and it had water, and therefore it had moss growing. Now moss makes great cave cleaner, and when you got a great cave cleaner, you can go around the forest whenever you want and know where to go take a dump, you know, like, because I need a poo right now, seriously. So if I decide for shit now, right, I'm telling you, there's a path that runs across the top of there, the path that runs round the back of the top of this one. There's a road there where all the cars park, and there's a path here. Now for me, that used to be my toilet area, like, it makes it sound so disrespectful, I'll teach it like a shithole, but it's not. Right, could have a poo in there now, right? Some fucker will come along and they'll fucking ring the police and go, there's a fucking weirdo in the woods having this shit, or he's running around naked. But this is what you come to. I used to camp here as well, like, well, fucking camped anywhere, didn't I, in the forest. But see that moss? You get that, squeeze it out, like, put that back for now. But that's what you wipe your cave with, clean your bum. It's like toilet roll in the woods. I think that's antibacterial and shit, so it keeps you extra clean. A bit like a wet wipe, but au naturel. But that's like one area crossed off my list of being able to go take a fucking shit in peace, innit? But like the size of the trucks that came in here, like, some people seeing them think that they're fucking huge, but they're not. They're only about 3 times bigger than your average JCB, but they're the tree felling ones, you know, ones that pick them up and sned the sides off and chop them into the limbs that they want doing. Now what I did, right, because I was there with 2 other people, I said to them, right, you see this? Can use this to our advantage. I went, how do you mean? I went, well, all those other places that you go to, when you see these trucks pull up again and there's men inside them, right, that's like a 12-foot drop down for them to be able to jump out their cabin. Now I said to him, right, what's this? Ran up to the side of it, worked out all the mounts where I need to grab on that make and model of tree felling trees and truck. So I can grab onto it and get on the front of it and maybe cover up the front of the window so the guy inside the cab can't see where he's going, so he's got to shut down his machine. And then say to people, look, this is where the door opens, so I need you to be there, there and there, having a fucking arrow facing his face in case he tries to fucking club me with some big massive spanner, because you should have seen the fucking sides of the nuts and bolts on him, like fucking huge. And the bit that went down the front, right, walks all along the top of that and slid down the other end like a slide. Basically, like, it's like a kid's obstacle playground to me. But I was doing it like finding out how you shut down one of those machines, because he'd shit himself if something happened to me and I was on that, unless he was a complete cunt and he thought he could get away with it. But that's when you have other people with you. But that's a long story altogether. So yeah, you run upside the trees and trucks, find out where the grab holes are. Basically, it's like if you're going climbing or you're going an indoor climbing wall, you work out where all your grab points are, then like you eventually you'll be able to get a faster climb up the wall. You can just run up to it and grab it and go like a monkey. That's the way the treating truck went into it. So what they do is, like, well, what they did in this area, for example, is at the top of it there's a forest track. Now they drive the trucks in that way and they dump big massive oil fuel containers, huge metal ones, like the size of those clothes skips that you see at recycling centres. 2 of those was dumped up on the road up here, then the big trucks came down here and into there, and that's when they felled. I went round, like, cause that's what cheese and trucks do. But you should have seen the surfs that, like, were walking past, walking the dogs and like on bike rides when they seen those 2 big massive fuel containers that were up on the fire road. Like, oh, look at them, what's inside them? There's diesel inside them. Hey, you could fucking smell them a mile off, like. But they're talking amongst themselves, like going, I suppose they got helicoptered in, didn't they? Fucking helicoptered in. They think that those fucking fire roads that they ride their bikes and walk the dogs on are there for them to use. It's like, no, they're fucking built as for the convenience of a corporation, called a Forestry Commission, to bring in their trees and trucks and take all the resources of your country right in front of your faces, and you never question it because you're so stupid for the education system you've been indoctrinated with in the first place. Anyway. So that's where the road runs round, and at the top of here, end of this track where it meets the fire road, that's where the trees and trucks came in and dumped their fuel supply. Let's put it this way. See, the thing is, right, it's kind of clever the way they put the fuel supplies, because if you wanted to like end their fuel supplies so they couldn't do what they was doing, to get rid of it fast you'd have to burn it. But to fucking burn that thing, you'd like to set the petrol station on fire, then the whole forest would go up in fire, even if it is plantation. But I can think of a few forests that could do with that thing to help it re-establish itself the way it's meant to be naturally, instead of its pure corporate non-native species of overcrowded, no daylight breaks through. Some things have to die just to stay alive.